So, while I was at the dollar store the other day, I picked up these, a bunch of, supposedly, they kind of look like copic knockoffs. They kind of look like the Ohus that I have. So we're going to try them out. I also picked up a bunch of other art supplies, but these are something that I've never tried before. So I'm just going to try and do an illustration. I've not swatched them yet, so we're going to do that. Then we're going to see how it goes. They are called double-ended markers, and they're made by the company Crafts. And we have no further information on them than that. Okay, that actually went much nicer than I thought it would. I was expecting to have to report back bad things. They did bleed through quite a bit, but not onto the next page, if you will. This is just some marker paper, I think from Walmart, to be perfectly honest, because I didn't want to mess up my sketchbook if these sucked. But I'll glue this into my sketchbook afterwards. It's just a nice free surface. So yeah, based on the color palette, I think I kind of want to do somebody who's like, we've got a skin tone, we've got a couple skin tones possibilities. I think I want to do somebody who's just maybe standing in nature or holding a little plant or something. Like, my go-to is always a girl with a plant or a girl in nature. So we'll start with that idea. Sorry, y'all know if I had my tripod, I'd just have it set up so you could see everything. I decided on just like a pretty basic girl holding pot, which of course set me up to draw hands, but that's okay. And right now I'm just blocking out where all the body parts are gonna go, where everything goes. I want to keep the face fairly simplified right now while I'm blocking everything out. I have a tendency to go straight in and start working on the details of the face. And in trying to combat that, I've almost stopped myself from drawing the face in terms of like line art until the very last thing. So we'll go back, we'll add some face. Zoom! So this is a Pigma brush. So kind of like a fine liner, kind of like a micron. But it does let me get a lot more width variation in the lines. So especially good for flowy things like hair and fabric. And I did not warm up before I started drawing, but that's okay. And again, it's been a hot minute since I actually did the pencil for these hands, and I don't like them anymore. They are subpar hands, but that's okay. I am going to get just a little bit more line variation, so I'm going to pull out another fine liner. Not that small, maybe. This one is one of the thicker fine liners that I have. It's an 08 micron, so it's still pretty thick, but it is a thinner line that I can get with the brush tip, especially right now with really shaky ass hands. And then just filling in some of the smaller lines, not necessarily less important lines with the smaller ones, but things that I don't want to be sloppy, on, or that I want to even draw attention to, because if most of the lines are one size and then some of the lines are a different size, it will draw attention to those different sized lines. So again, this plant is more stylized than I would usually draw. So I'm not sure what was up with me that day, but I don't dislike it. It's a fine plant. Oh, no, I let the hand go over top of the plant. That's a problem. Rip. And then just going back in and filling in some of the lines here with the brush pen in that thicker line. So now we're back to our dollar store markers. I think the most obvious choices are here with a lot of skin tone options. My camera setup fell, rest in peace. There's a lot of obvious skin tone options and a lot of obvious hair options, but I don't know that I necessarily want to go with the obvious for both of them, so maybe I will give her a human skin tone and then some dyed hair, or the other way around. I think maybe that would make the most sense. I can't see myself using the blue anywhere else in the illustration, so we'll give her some blue hair. Also, we'll go with the lightest skin tone here so that I can build up in some other places. So starting here, because this feels less important than the face. That is actually pretty good coverage. It's not that streaky. If I do a second coat, it'll probably come out with no streaks, which is amazing. My Ohu markers even are about this quality. Although we'll see again how it looks when it dries. Oh, actually, I could have a blue shirt. Why didn't I think of that? Maybe I'll give her brown hair and a blue shirt. What other colors have we got? There's the pink. I could give her a pink shirt. Oh, I could give her pink hair. That's actually pretty good coverage. I don't know that I will do a second coat because this paper tends to be not so great for holding a ton of pigment. I lied. Let's see what happens. So yeah, still not totally clearing up the streakiness, but it is overall pretty good coverage. And then, oh yeah, these guys have a fine tip edge, don't they? Let's go in with that, especially for some of the smaller areas that we're trying to fill in, so that I don't mess up this first coat of color. My other question about new markers is whether or not they layer nicely. So I'm going to try and put the pink in some places on top of her face as blush and to fill in color to make her look more real, more alive, and see how that looks. So when you layer these guys, you're not getting a lot of buildup. So I have now 3 coats on the lips, and they're not that much darker than the underneath. So you can't really layer them like you could other alcohol markers, but that's okay. they're still like working weirdly well for dollar store markers, so I'm happy. I'm gonna do some, which one was this? This is, yeah, the kind of reddy brown. I'm gonna do some really basic shadow because I think it works with the style of the drawing. It is a pretty cartoonized, stylized, that's the word I'm looking for. It is a pretty stylized drawing already, so I feel like it's gonna be okay if I have some choppier shadows. I also just straight up did not put her eyes the correct distance from her nose on both sides, so like, you know, there's that. Oh no, I shaded too dark on her nose, I think, too much. She looks like a furry now. Help! Okay, well, my camera died and this is officially the messiest video ever, but I did use this to outline underneath on the fern and in all the places that shade would be. The next thing I want to check with these markers is the blending, because I haven't actually tested that in a swatch yet. So I'll actually take probably the blue first and do a swatch, and then quickly-ish, before it dries all the way, see if I can get some blending action with the pink. So it's not picking up or moving the pigment, but it is mixing fairly well in the middle there. So I think what I'm wanting to do now with the hair is do a little bit of a gradient. So I'm not going to worry too much about keeping the, oh goodness, about keeping the actual ink wet. I'm just going to do all of the one color and then all of the other, because I'm not truly blending, I'm just doing one on top of the other, if that makes sense. The other question, of course, with fantastical colored hair is, do I want it to be naturally blue and give her blue eyebrows? Or do I want it to be a dye job blue? So past the halfway point there so that there is room for mixing, and I'm going to go in just again doing that gradient effect as much as possible. So starting from where I want the purple to start and then going into the pink. Dude, this is nice hair. I'd have this hair. So again, I don't mind the messy lines there, because again, I am going for this very blocky style in this piece, but to fix up that, I'm going to do a few short lines, kind of like the strands of hair, just for really mixing in the two colors there as much as possible with markers that don't blend. So yeah, again, my other Copic knockoffs, the Ohu, I definitely say do have blend to them and the capability to blend. So that's a slight advantage over these guys, but that's okay. And then I'm not even sure if I want to shade on top of this. I might take the gray tone brown and do a little bit of shading. So I think, yeah, I will take, so this is the grayer tone brown. A gray would be nice, but I'm not going to cheat and use color, or even a dark blue would be nice. Oh, that's really too brown, but that's okay. I'm just going to do some basic shade back here, just to, again, further separate that and some of those hair pieces And then because it's brown, I don't think I'm going to take it and use it for shading any place else in the hair except the really basic places. And then I am going to go back in and do the eyebrows with one of the hair colors that we've selected, because I'd much rather do that and incorporate the pink somewhere on the face and then be able to have a blue shirt. I found a lot of times, just for me, that when I have the same color at least 2 places in the drawing, it works really well and it seems more believable, unless that color is the focus, is the color of the focus piece. Like, for example, the fern here could be considered the focus piece besides like her face. So it's okay that the only place we have the green is on the fern, because it pops there, if that makes sense. Also, I'm just digging this blue, like it's a pretty color. So again, just like with a lot of actual alcohol markers, if you go for a second trip over where you did the color, it'll give you a smoother finish. So I am finding that with these markers, which is nice. Oh, hello. We're already running out of ink in the blue, and we've only been using it. I don't think I've used it for any other drawings other than this, even though this video has been filmed over the course of a few days. So, rest in peace, blue marker. You were nice while you lasted. Maybe I could squeeze one more drawing out of you. No! Rest in peace, blue marker. You will be missed. Oh, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do the inside of the sleeves in the blue first, and then in the brown, so that we maybe get a darker blue shade. Yeah, that's mostly just brown, but we tried our best, and that's what counts. Maybe I'll go over it again in the blue, see what happens. Oh, that's working a little bit. There, that's kind of more of a darker blue tone. The limited palette is interesting to work with. And the other thing that I'm going to put in, I don't know what color I want the pot. Maybe I'll put the pot black. I'll go back and do black for the pot. I think I am going to have the green color that we had for her eyes. Bold moves up in here. They really do dry much later than they go on. Yeah, I think I am going to fish out a black marker of some kind and fill in the pot. That's not cheating, because I used a black for the line art anyway. There we go. That's a black. And these are Tombos, which are much nicer markers. But they are water-based as opposed to alcohol-based. So I'd say that the black is the only one that does go on opaque. The other ones, and even the black, is super streaky, and I've not had it that long. So the other ones do go on, well, kind of watery. They're water-based markers. That's okay. The black pot was probably a good call. I don't dislike the black pot. There we go. I don't think I'm going to do a border of any kind in the background. I don't think it'll add anything to the piece necessarily. I will give her some pupils though. There we are. That actually doesn't look half bad. Oh, and I'm going to go in with the pink as well, since it's already a tone that we have in the piece, and a marker that I'm allowed to be using. give her a bit there. I don't think I'll fill in anywhere else on the face because it's too bright of a pink. Well, that looks good. Do I want to do a border? No, I don't. That's it. A little bit of cheating, but mostly just some dollar store markers. Thank you for watching. It's been a good time. But also, this mess in this video is a mess, so sorry about that.